And dear friends, today we celebrate our homecoming, the beginning of new school year in our church, a new cycle in the life of our congregation. And anytime we plan the worship in our church, we are sitting in a session and discussing what should be those hymns we will be singing. And believe it or not, very often we spend considerable time of thinking which will nicely come together with the message of that Sunday. Sometimes it takes really long time, sometimes it is almost natural that it comes to us. Like this Sunday, for instance, that first hymn was like this. We knew that we are going to sing, "Let us build a house." And it is about the upbuilding of the church. And I want to show you why we picked that hymn for us today. It is about building a house, building a church. What are the architectural features of the church? What makes church church? Just, it's homecoming, so it should be definitely an interactive. So come on, what makes church church? Oh, people, yes, that's too well educated. No, I mean building, architecturally first. Sanctuary, but sanctuary is just a space. So what are the features of the sanctuary? Stained glass window, yes, what next? I will take a face mask.
A shared belief system.
Shared belief system, that's coming back to those people. No, I want architectural building. Come on, architects. What is pipe organ? Pulpit. Pews. Organ we had. Altar. Yes. Anything else? High ceiling. Vault. Yes. Any? Was it here? Where did it come from? Communion, that'll be like presbytery, because the place where the communion is taking place, or altar area, is either called chancel or presbytery, because there the presbyters are sitting around. Baptismal font, yes. No. So I came with many. You completely forgot about towers. Towers, spires, bell towers, domes, cupolas, portals, arches, parapets, apses, rose window, nave and cross naves, rod screens. We don't have it, but Roman Catholics would know what it is. Transepts, columns, buttresses, or even flying buttresses. Those are with cathedrals which are supporting, so it is not coming all apart. Nartheses, vestibules, chancels, baptisteries. We had baptismal font, but there are also sometimes the whole part of the church is baptistry. Ambulatories. You know what it is, ambulatory? The place where people can walk from one part of the church to another, or around the chancel. That's ambulatory. It's not anything with medicine. Originally it was. Ambulatory is that you can walk in. That is because it's from walking in Latin. And porticos. Well, we have sort of like porticos here, these arches, side aisles. So all of that is the building as an architecture. Now, Of course, we are going the way that some of you jumped the gun about what actually is in that song. And here I ask Gabriel and I ask our choir, and I will ask all of you, us, to actually sing again that song 301, and one verse at a time, and we will pay attention whether there are any kind of architectural references in it. So let us sing and see. So. Vault was there, yes. That was the only architectural reference. There'll be a few more. But otherwise, it is all about a place for all generations where people can live safely and divisions are transcended. So here we are coming, really, to the congregation as people, or those who are bound together by one faith and one vision of what faith means. Let us sing another one. No reference to structure of church at all. There is a place of prophets can speak truth and seek justice. Cross represents the divine grace there. Now, next one. Banquet hall, that is, but it's somehow secularized if you think about it. It's not really specific for church. We are comparing it to a structure of a different kind. But otherwise, it is, this verse is all about what you mentioned also, communion, sacraments, the place where sacraments are actually leading us not only to be fed spiritually here, but to go out and feed people around us. That is behind those words which we were singing. And liberating people from hunger and need, just like we do on our Thursday meal program, for instance. Next one. So if you don't count stone and wood, which are just general materials for construction, no reference anymore, but place of healing which starts with teaching and learning, and people are not outcast in this place. That is behind these words. And finally, last one. Floor to rafter. That is the reference to the structures of the church. But otherwise, it is a place of worship, hearing the word, and a place of genuine emotions, tears and laughter, all embraced and sealed in music. Music sang as well as music felt. And that is why we pick this hymn, exactly like you said, because church is, of course, we need a building, but church is primarily those who are here. It is you and those who are with us electronically on Zoom or live stream. We are all church, and here it is almost like highlighted by this electronic means, reminding us to look beyond. And here I would like to lift up blessed memory Pastor Hollister, a minister of like 2 or 3 generations before me, who left us a marvelous gift which caught me by heart when I came here for my first interview some winters ago. And it is in the elevator. This is a church without walls. Well, we have the ones that hold up the roof, but not the kind that keep people out. That's the quotation there, or inscription in our elevator. If you go by elevator in this building, you will definitely notice that it is close to the ceiling in the elevator, but I find it so meaningful and so powerful. The building, the structure is important. It allows us to be church, to gather, to be together. But the space inside is what really matters. The community and its ministry is what really matters. It's a safe space where we can come together and worship God and serve one another and those in need. Just like recently I was reminded and moved greatly by that small Episcopalian church of St. Andrews in Martha's Vineyard, where there was that influx of migrants sent to them from Texas through Florida to Martha's Vineyard. Without any warning, they received 2 plane loads of desperate people. And where the community gathered? Question. Around a church. And church helped them to organize emergency response to that situation. A small congregation, but powerful in witness. It reminds me of a response of you, this congregation, to a refugee crisis when we said not on our side. And we welcomed refugees from Syria and from Afghanistan. Many of them are now leaving on their tracks to independence. I just today heard that Koja family received their citizenship. Isn't it marvelous? But in Martha's Vineyard, it was finally found its way into the media, and it was reported. But we know through Chris Lacasse, who is a friend of our church and occasionally worshiped with us, he reached out to me with desperate request whether we can do something about it, because this is a stunt done on Martha's Vineyard. But that has been going on, dear friends, for quite a while with buses, and buses coming to our terminal here or to Jervis Center and dumping people being sent from Texas, from Arizona, and so on. And it is happening to New York City. It is happening to Washington, D.C., and to Chicago. And people are responding, but now after months and months of responding, they are getting kind of tired. And they are looking for help and support. And so I offer that we will start brainstorming, what we can do to help those people helping there. And I am promised that I will receive some basic contacts for them, what we can do, because I think that this is a calling for the church. And for small churches maybe, more than for those mega churches, because where are those mega churches in Texas or in Arizona or in Florida we hear about and are being pointed to like as examples of success of Christianity in America? Just give me a break. They are self-serving. They are serving just their own emotions and their own spirituality, and very often misled or misdirected. I'm sorry, but we sang about being prophets. And sometimes it is important to name things as they need to be named. But returning back, I got carried away. I'm reminded of our Thursday meal program, caring for our local, in our neighborhood, poor. And being joined with one Ukrainian babushka, that's a granny coming with a stroller with 2 kids. Middle generation is somewhere probably trying to make living. And having an opportunity to practice a little bit of Ukrainian. Buterbrod z шинкою або індичкою. That means sandwich with ham, shinkoyu, that's ham, with ham, abo, or indichkoyu. It means that's not India, it's derived from that because Turkey for them is coming from India. You know, for us it's coming from Turkey. For them it is coming from India. And yeah, practicing a little bit of that. I can partly understand what they are saying. Or another thing which we are trying to do or preparing for that is a legal clinic for refugees and asylum seekers, which is coming to our church. I think in October, am I right? And we put aside some resources and they will be meeting in our space and we will be helping to fill the paperwork and help them on a trajectory of being approved. That brings me actually to the thing which we heard from the newspapers. Some of those people who are being bused to us and so on are set to fail immigration procedures because they have an appearance scheduled in Texas or in Florida, in other places. They are lured into buses or planes sent over here. And of course, you know, imagine traveling back for that appointment. It does not make sense, but it is just a stunt. And for that reason, having a legal clinic here and being able to help at least some of them is, I think, quite important. But friends, as much as I like this hymn about building this sanctuary, and sanctuary can again mean something besides just structure, but a place where people are safe, building this sanctuary, this spiritual house of worship, I still think that there is something important missing. And biblical song about the temple of the Lord as recorded in the Psalms, a temple of Zion in Jerusalem as it is in the Bible, but very likely much older and preserving some really valuable theology from time long before it was written down into the Bible, is present to us in Psalm 84. And here I will ask Connie to read those just few opening verses from Psalm 84.
How special is your home, O Lord of hosts! My soul longs and faints for your courts. My heart and my body celebrate the God of life. Even sparrows find their homes, and swallows build their nests to bring up their broods around your altars. O Lord of hosts, my King and my God, how blessed they are to dwell in your temple. They can praise you with their songs all day long.
Thank you. Have you noticed there is actually in this psalm plenty of architectural language, but interesting architectural language because it is about the dwelling place, mishkan in Hebrew, to settle down, to abide, courts, compounds, maybe villages, the dwelling places of just regular people, or then a compound of the temple. And then there is a reference to a house, at least in Hebrew, house of sparrow. Of course, it is not a house of sparrow, it is a nest. And that's probably how it is translated in most of the Bibles. And then there is a nest of a swallow. And they are being blessed for being able to be in the house of the Lord, in those dwelling places of our God. And here is coming something which is so close to my heart, and I think that needs to be kind of attached to that psalm which we just, or that hymn we sang. And I lift it up as very beautiful and nice. We need to integrate into religion and our worship the nature, other creatures. They're present in that psalm with the sparrows and swallows. Now you can hear them chirping. Those are actually pre-recorded. And they find protection in the temple. They can also bring up their families. And they are part of that sanctuary. They are part of the soundscape, of the singing of choirs and music making. But they are nesting by the temple, and with their chatter, with their chirping, they are bringing that all together. A sanctuary for humans and a sanctuary for nature alike. And they all participate in worship by singing praises to our Lord. Sparrows as well as swallows are blessed because they are singing their praises all their lives. That's why I'm so thrilled that we have here dogs with us. They can worship with us and be present with us. And that is why we keep, and it is coming up, the blessing of animals every year. Because we need to open our faith towards the nature, towards the creation. It cannot be any longer just concentrated on us as human beings. The environmental and climate catastrophe which is coming our way is just a reminder of that. And with people of faith, it should start with the faith. And for that reason, I lifted up this psalm. That is the vision of the theology which is associated with a group of theologians called Earth Bible. Building, shaping, forming a sanctuary, a safe house of praise and joyful chirping for humans as well as for nature. Amen.